Okay, we are live. Hi, everybody. I hope you're having an amazing Thursday. As promised, I'm here with the guest speaker series, and today with me is the amazing Linda Jordon. Hi, Linda. How are you doing today?
Hello, I am doing fantastic. Hope you are.
Yes, I'm doing very well. And thank you for taking out time to speak with the audience of my group. And this is just, I know the conversation is going to be so powerful. I'm already so inspired with your story and everything. So I'm so looking forward to the conversation. So thank you for taking out time.
You're welcome.
So everybody who is joining us live, I'm going to give you a minute or two to send Facebook gods a notification to everybody in the group. And so before, it gets notified to everybody, whoever is joining us live, please drop in the chat in the comments where you are joining in from, your name, what you're excited about the today's topic. And the reason you want to do that is because we have participation prizes. I want to give you some good incentives for taking action. So you better interact with us. It's my sweet bribe to you. So yeah, I look forward to interacting with you in the comments. And for anybody who is watching us on the replay, type hashtag replay and the lines for getting notified in the comments will stay open for 48 hours, so you can still participate, you can still share your questions, your comments and everything. So having said that, welcome. If you're joining us on the live and if you're watching on the replay, very welcome. I am Molika Gupta and I'm a transformational coach. I am a co-author of a book called Redesign Your 9 to 5, and I'm a public speaker, and I am also a council member for Women's Chamber of Commerce between India and West USA. And professionally, I'm an intellectual property licensing professional. So that has been my professional identity. And now I'm on a mission to work with 10,000 women who have relocated to a new country, who have gone through life-changing transitions. I'm on a mission to inspire 10,000 women by 2025. And so anybody who's listening, on this live, you are part of my mission. So, and that is why I'm here. So that was about me. And now I want to introduce my amazing guest. Linda, the floor is yours. Please tell us what you do and what you are all about.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. So again, my name is Linda Jordan. I am a wife, mother, and breast cancer survivor. And so I worked in corporate America for almost 30 years, 28 and a half to be exact, I believe it was. It's so long. Nowadays, people don't even get to do that. But I was in corporate America for a really long time, and I enjoyed what I was doing. However, one day, I had a wake up call, and that's why I tell people I was blessed with breast cancer and took a new route, a new change. I had to make a pivot in life. And so I started my own business or businesses. And so I'm a real estate investor full time. I have rental properties. And so I also, as a result of having breast cancer, started my own nonprofit called Breast Cancer Angel Awareness. And that's where I provide information to women to help them make better decisions about their health. And I did that because as I was going through the experience of breast cancer, I was struggling with getting information. I was struggling with trying to make a decision. I knew what I wanted to do, but I wanted to make sure I made the right decision. And it was a challenge to find the information. And so I want to be able to help other women that are experiencing that to get them the right information so they can make the right choices for their body and their health.
That is such a beautiful mission. And so tell me, walk us through the experience and walk us through, what has been your journey like dealing with this massive disease.
Um, it's it's interesting, an interesting question to answer because my memory of it, and people are like, oh my gosh, how did you do that? But for some reason, my memory of what I experienced was not as horrible as I thought it was going to be. And I think that's because I went into it with such a positive attitude. My conversation with my doctors were, number one, what do I need to do so I don't have to see you again ever? And what would you do if you were me? And I had a female oncologist. And so I asked her, what would you do if you were me? and what can I do or need to do so I never have to visit you again to talk about this. And so I made the decision to do a double mastectomy and to have reconstruction immediately following, because I didn't want to have to go back and rehash and go through all that again. So luckily for me, I had a 2-for-1 special, is what I call it. So my daughter, age 26, was born, and I had an old-fashioned cesarean, so I had extra tummy fat. And so in conversations with my physician, plastic surgeon, we talked about ways I could do this procedure and get a 2-for-1 deal. So I had a double mastectomy, and they used my belly fat to make new boobs.
Mm.
So that's my 2-for-1 special.
It's, I mean, what cheered me up, when I spoke to you earlier. So the way Linda and I met was through a speaking challenge, and we'll be working on, we also have an event coming up together. And while we were having a conversation on an entirely different topic, she also touched about the fact that she has gone through this massive transformation. And I was like, man, I loved how cheerful she was about it, how smiling you were about it. I mean, I was like, listen, Linda, I want you to talk to my group about this. Because the very fact, Linda, that you are smiling, you are cheering up, and I know that it was a painful journey. Of course it was, right? But then the fact that you were able to embrace it so positively, and then now you have a mission about it, that is something I think people like you, life is like, you know what, girl, I'm gonna give you a lot big hairy lemons, but I know that you're gonna turn around and you're gonna make a lemon cake out of it. So life is like, you know what, I'm done making you suffer. So I mean, kudos to you for having that kind of attitude towards all the big lemons like threw on you through this massive experience. Tell us a little bit about, so what was your mental attitude, when you got to know about it and then going through this?
So, my mental attitude, it was interesting. So I was in my office actually back, not long ago, 5 years ago. This is my 5th year, praise God, of being cancer free. But, when I was called on the phone, I'll never forget, it was December 5th, 2014, because it was 30 days before my 51st birthday. That's how I remember. And so I was in my office, and the doctor said, can you come visit? Wanted to talk to you about your results. And, I just knew the results were in. I wasn't even thinking that it was going to be cancer. So my mindset was all about getting my results. I'll come back to the office because I had work to do. But that wasn't, the answer. And the answer wasn't that it was negative. The answer was positive. And so, I was devastated, heart-wrenched. I was just, I didn't know how to handle myself. So on my way home, I called my sister first, my oldest sister, because she had also experienced breast cancer 5 years prior to me. I did call my husband first, and people are like, why do you call your husband first? Well, because my husband gets so excited, and I didn't want him to have an accident as I'm talking to him on the phone, because he's in construction. So I was like, I got to get home, get my older sister, and figure out a way to get him home so that I could tell him, because I didn't want him to be in an accident or anything of that nature, or fall off a ladder, anything like that. So by the time I had my discussion with my husband and my family, I was feeling so much better about it. We're a very religious family. And so I knew what I needed to do, and I knew what I wanted to do. I just needed to figure out how I was going to do it. And so from that day on, I never looked back. I never thought about it as, why me? I thought about it as more as it's an opportunity for me to do something different with my life. And I think I had that perspective because, working in corporate America, I had put all my time and energy into my 9 to 5. I mean, I was the company. If you ever talked about someone being the company, I was it. My husband always said, do you ever turn it off? I never did, because I believed in what my company did. I believed in the mission, and being in pharmaceuticals, I was bought in. I drank the Kool-Aid, I'll say that. And so, for me, it was a wake-up call with breast cancer, because it allowed me to take a step back to say, what are you doing for your life? How are you helping other people? What is your passion? you need to spend more time with your family, more time with friends, just take a step back and look at life and see, what do you need to do differently? Luckily for me, at the time, the company was going through some changes. And so I raised my hand to say, I want to take early retirement. And I knew this was it for me. And so I never looked back. I really didn't. I miss my staff, and I always will because I adore them greatly, but I don't miss the work. And so that was it for me. I just knew I needed to do something different. I had no fear. And what's most weird about my situation was I had 11-hour surgery. And I don't remember, and my husband says the same thing. I never had any pain, and I don't know how that happened, but I guess I was so elated that I was being relieved from all the hustle and bustle and the traveling and all that kind of stuff, which was great. I loved my 9 to 5. I mean, it paid my bills, but I don't recall ever suffering around the surgeries or the procedures or the reconstruction or the follow-up procedures around the breast cancer itself. I just took it as this is a new change of life for me. I embraced it. I was working on my new business as I was recovering at the same time. And so it wasn't a bad memory for me. I just took it as this is a blessing from God, even though it's something not so positive for me from a health perspective, but it allowed me to think deep about the changes that I needed to make in my life so that I could be a better person.
Wow. You just by sharing how you handle everything and how you turned everything, I think we just made our friendship a little more bit stronger because I just saw parts of me in your story, because the way you turned around it and you said, you know what, life is happening for me and not to me,
Right.
is exactly what has been my journey. And it's so interesting that for you just said, you know what, this is just a new phase of my life. This is a way life was telling me, girl, you need to leave that 9 to 5, which you clearly are not enjoying. And because you wouldn't have left it, right? So life happened in a way which said, you know what, ding 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 ding, ding, get out of that 9 to 5, Linda, and you have a new chapter, you have a new phase, you have a lot of new mission waiting for you, and you just said yes to the life.
Yes, I said yes. I had no idea what I was going to be doing.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew that I loved real estate investing and I love coaching other people, and that's what I do now. So I knew that those were my two passions. I just didn't know what it was going to look like, how I was going to do it. All I knew that I was setting up the business and I was just going to see where it fell.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what I want I want the audience to take away from your story. It's, the external situations, like in your case, it was it was just this horrible thing, right? This thing which nobody you want, nobody ever, your friend, your
Yeah.
enemy ever to have. It was an external situation, right? In somebody else's cases, it's something else. It's a disease, it's a parent's disease. It's a So many of my members, we are expats and immigrant spouses. So in our case, it's visa situation, which puts us in a place of, I don't know why it's happening to me, why
Right.
me in this case. But having said that, it's an external circumstance which you don't have a control over, right? But
Right.
the lesson from it is that what life is trying to tell you, what
Right.
is life literally urging you, folding it hands and saying, listen.
Right.
So in your case, it was this breast cancer, which the way it happened was literally urging you to take a look back in your life and ask yourself, do you really want to continue 9 to 5, the way you were continuing? Do you really want to spend the rest of your life? And the answer, right, for you was
Yeah.
profound no. So that really is the reason I wanted you to share the story, to tell people that external circumstances can happen in any way, in any shape or form in your life. What if you just listen
And
to
at
it, and if
any
you just
time.
allow, right, life to
Yeah.
happen, you will see that there's a hidden lesson behind it. There is something which life is telling you. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I just, yeah, I just took it for what it was. I embraced it, and I'm like, okay. I was excited actually because I was getting a 2-for-1 deal. I've been doing abs forever. doing those abs, doing those crunches, everything, and nothing was taking that belly fat away. And I was like, oh my gosh, I get a 2-for-1 deal.
You're like, oh my God, I love you so much for being so bubbly and positive about it. This is, I mean, look at Linda. How in the world life can throw any other big lemon at you, Linda? It's like, oh my God, I've just thrown the biggest lemon and you just made a cool lemonade out of it. What is wrong with you? And that is exactly, kind of attitude which is needed from so much, like, I think for the collective, this is the attitude we need, especially during this pandemic, during this all this changes which we have gone through, right? We ask ourselves, why me? Why this is happening? How do I get out of this hole which doesn't seems to end? And this is the attitude, right? You need in life to say, you know what? Yeah, that okay, that's happening. Well, but how do I make it work for
Yeah.
me? Right? That's what you did. You just made it work for you.
Well, when you're faced with a decision that you have to make, that's a life altering decision. You just kind of have to go with it. I mean, I didn't want to waste any time moldering over what I was going to do because my thing was, I got to get this out of me.
Yeah.
And then I got to start my new life, whatever that is going to look like. I've got to start it today. And so, as I said, I was creating my other businesses as I was recovering, sitting there in my, I had to sit in like a beach chair form, because of the surgery. And I had my laptop. I was just going to town working and I was going to make it happen. For some reason, I had no fear. And I guess I didn't have fear of failure because I knew in my heart and soul that it was going to work. It had to
Yeah.
work.
Well, here's the reason why you didn't had a fear of failure, because because the way you embraced what was happening to you in a way that, okay, finally, I got this permission slip from life that I can actually choose what I want to do. So I just think that was the reason for you, that, well, what worse is gonna happen, right? And the worst which was happened to me, I've already turned around it for myself. So what's out there for me to be fearful? I think that was the reason why you didn't felt fearful about the fact that there is a new life waiting for you.
Yeah.
So on that note, what has been your mission, and tell us about your nonprofit, and what are you doing now?
Yeah. So my nonprofit, as I said, is to help women make better choices, better decisions for themselves regarding their health and their surgical procedures. And I wanted to do that because after I had surgery, I ran across so many different women that I had no idea, just through conversations, that were going through breast cancer, and they were struggling with what decision to make, about their bodies. And they were fearful because they didn't want to make the wrong choice. Some had looked at the options that I chose and they were like, oh gosh, no, I can't do that because they've never seen it before. And so, without even thinking about what I was doing, he'll laugh at this. My husband says I was crazy. But without even thinking about it, I just quickly lifted my shirt, like, this is what it looks like. Because I was so excited. I was so proud of my new boobs. I would just like take women to the bathroom. Okay, this is what it looks like. And this is how the surgery is going to go. And they were like, thank you so much. At first, I was thinking, girl, have you lost your mind? But the women were so appreciative because they were like, I can actually see what it looks like. I can imagine what that surgery would feel like. It was just an eye opener for them. And I know when I think about it, I was like, what was I thinking? But I didn't even think about it. I was just like, they needed an answer. They wanted some type of resolution. They've read about it, they've seen movies or videos about it, but they've never seen a real person in life. And so I actually, showed them because I wanted them to feel comfortable about the decision that they made, because I didn't have that for me. I just took it for what it was worth based on a video on the internet. And I'm like, I'm going for it. So for me to have the opportunity to share that with someone face to face, I just took advantage of the situation and said, hey, I'll show you. So you will know, and you'll know what to experience or what it should look like. And women were very appreciative. And so in doing that, I said, I need to start my nonprofit so that I can spread the message, help other women, and see how I can even I can just touch one individual to help them make a good choice and help them feel about the decision they've made, and also help them through the journey. Then I've done my job.
Oh my God, this is so freaking beautiful, Linda. I mean, This is the kind of authenticity and the heart of serving which we need so much, so badly in the world. And I cannot, I mean, I can't even think how grateful the women, who you made to see your body felt like,
Yeah,
because she wouldn't have got that help or that decision or that yes from her heart, that I saw somebody who has gone through the same experience, and the other person was willing to share that experience in such a way which is so profound. I mean,
right.
I don't, I mean, that woman, for that person, she cannot forget your face. She would, I think she would have been thanking you every single day, every waking day of her life, because of the way you showed up, and
Yeah,
from the place you showed up, that I want to serve this person. I know what she's going through. I get it
yeah,
completely.
yeah,
So
exactly. I get it.
yeah, thank you
Yeah,
for
and
doing that.
unfortunately, I have run across women that have already done their procedures and they didn't turn out as good as mine, and they are still suffering. And so I do have the opportunity to talk to them about, and again, say, this is what it should have looked like. Um,
Mm,
and, empathize with them with what they're going through, but we can talk about, how do we help them feel better about what they already have in front of them. But that's why it's so important to connect with others and to share our experiences, because you never know how you can touch someone else's heart. You just never know unless they ask you or you're in a general conversation and you feel comfortable in sharing. And for me, oddly enough, I was always an introvert. And after this experience, I don't know what happened to me. I just do more talking, I do more sharing. But I think that's the beauty of, you know, when you have to make a pivot or a change in life, that, what's the worst thing that can happen if you share some goodness to some other people? They will develop and grow from it, they will learn from it. But I also feel good about what I'm doing because I'm helping somebody else.
absolutely. And I so applaud you. I just have a newfound, I mean, as much as I respect you and I adore
Well,
you and
thank
I
you.
love you, but the very fact that you did this, I mean, it just took the kind of respect and love on another level.
Oh, thank
Uh,
you.
so this is such a huge amazing thing you can do to anybody who has gone through the same experience.
Yeah.
um, and that is what empowered women like you looks like, because empowered women empower others, right? Women like you who do not hide behind their sufferings and their problems, and the fact that you have gone through the experience. You had a choice, right? You had a choice to say, you know what, oh my god, why me, why life chose me, and just hide behind that wall of depression and wall of like, I don't feel good enough. You said, you know what, that's fine. I'm going to turn this around, and I'm going to make this a mission of me, and in the process I'm going to empower other women who
Yes.
is going through the same process and the journey, and tell them, listen, you can smile, you can have you can do whatever the heck you want to do.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. And don't have to wear a bra.
Don't worry about it. Exactly. Don't worry about it. I mean, and on top of it, you're gonna get a two. What is that? 2-on-1 deal. I love that. I think you should write a book on it, Linda. Have you written a book on two-on-one deal? I think it will be a blessing to everybody who is going
Oh,
through the
that's a great idea. Never thought of that.
right. And the title can be 2-on-1, and then you can share this same thing
Share
that you
this.
have
Yeah.
been, yeah. And there can be an entire chapter for where you can dedicate this, and you can have a movement around it. Oh my God, I'm so filled with the ideas.
You're full of ideas.
Right? We can have an entire movement around the fact that show your, in the bathroom, go and show what it's looks like.
Yeah, that's true. That is so true. Yeah, I mean, you have to be comfortable with your body. And, for me, I've always been a heavy chested girl. I mean, I'll just say it. That's how I
Mhm.
was. And so, but after that, I was just like so blessed to have my belly on my boobs is what I call it. Maybe that's the title of the book. Belly on my
Right.
and if I can bless someone else, then I've done my work for the day. And so it's also a cost savings. I don't have to buy bras anymore.
Oh my God. That's now that's a whole another level of showing middle finger to life. Oh my God, this is so crazy. So I mean, all the audience and all the members look at this empowered woman. She is I'm so inspired with your story and the work you are doing, Linda. And I know that before this, we were just having a conversation that you're also pursuing your doctoral degree. So I just wanted to touch about that. I mean, if anybody can get inspired with your story, I also want to add a cherry on the cake that you are doing
Oh,
already so much, but you're also pursuing your PhD. So tell us about a little of that.
sure. So, I am a learner for anyone that's ever done like Myers-Briggs or
Hmm.
the Strengths Finders. My top number one has always been learner. And so I think I just learn more than I probably need to, but I love learning. And so I wanted to, while I was in corporate America, my goal was to be the vice president. And I said, maybe I need my PhD and that's how I'll get there. So I was like, I'm going to get my PhD, started learning. And my PhD, of course, is in philosophy, organizational development, and leadership. But my topic in my study will be about how real estate investors, because I'm one of them, how we use intuition to make investment decisions. And I wanted to do that because as a entrepreneur, as a business owner, we have so many decisions that we have to make, and they have to be sometimes quick. They sometimes we don't have all the data. We have some. We may not have everything we need, but we have to make decisions very quickly in order to keep our business going. And so I wanted to really have a true understanding around how other investors do that in the state of North Carolina. How do they make investment decisions using intuition, that gut feel, that inner feeling that you get about something? And so that's kind of, what I'm doing, and I am almost finished. Almost
Yeah.
finished, yes. So I am at the stage of now getting ready to start my research, and then I'll write my final two chapters and then have my degree.
That is so awesome. So I'm gonna just, I know we are pivoting from your story, but I'm so excited about the fact that you're also pursuing PhD and the topic is so on fire. I think real estate industry is just gonna, they better get start working on their stuff because Linda Jordan is coming with her intuitive process. Um, so my question is that how everyday, women, everyday person can use intuition to navigate through the process, through their decision making every day.
Well, we use intuition all the time, every day, and we probably just don't really even think about it. But it's like you decide to do something like, well, you're going to decide to get up and brush your teeth. I mean, it's just intuitive. It's just the process that you have that's ingrained in your body of what you should be doing. We also use intuition based upon how past experiences. So, if you've done something before and it worked, when you have to do that again, you don't really even have to think about whether you're going to do it or not. You just do it. So your intuition just kind of takes over. But most of the time we're looking at our beliefs, we're looking at our values, we're looking at our experiences, and that's how we make decisions about, whether it's an investment decision, an educational decision, or just an ordinary general day-to-day decision. We use our intuitive thoughts, our gut. When you feel that, get that feeling in the pit of your stomach, you're like, this just doesn't feel right. That's your intuition talking to you.
Mhm.
And people don't even think about it, but that's how we sometimes make decisions. If it doesn't feel good, then you don't do it. And that's your intuition talking to you about, hey, let's not do that because it may happen, something bad may happen, or you experienced something before that was either positive or negative, and that just helps you or guides you along the way of making that type of decision. You don't have any data in front of you. You're not looking at any numbers that say statistically, 1 out of every 10, blah blah blah, and you make a decision. That's not how intuition works. It's just the way that you feel, your beliefs, your values, and your past experiences that guide you along the way of making that decision.
That's beautiful, and it's more like you believe before you see it.
Yes.
So and so many of us, so and here's what I always think about intuition. These are like small, seemingly small decisions which we like, click here, get on this book, click on the Facebook group, get on this meeting, and these looks like, oh my god, this I just did this, without even thinking. That exactly is what intuition is.
Yeah.
So the very fact that you found yourself at the right place at the right time with the right person, listen to the right information, and if you track back all your steps, right, logically what you did, you will
Mhm.
realize that all what I did was I just followed my gut feeling.
Follow your gut
Um,
feeling.
right. And so when you apply that to big decisions in your life, right, it feels like, well, how do I start believing myself of these big decisions, like who do I marry, who do I date, right? Whether I should have kids right now, whether I should go for this particular business, whether I should apply for a job. It's just understanding and trusting that there is a divine intelligence inside of your body. It's called
Hmm.
GPS, right? is
Yeah,
is, is
exactly.
guiding you, is guiding you. And just start trusting it a little more. I think that's a huge problem with the world we live in, because we operate so much from here,
Right.
that our here, right, the heart and the gut has just no way of telling that, you know what, I mean, I just feel that if heart can have a mouth, and our hearts can speak, I think heart will be like, girl, you need to start listening to me a lot more. What do you think about it?
Hey, that's a book for you if heart could have a mouth.
Exactly. I think yes, I definitely can write about it, because I was this person who used to be over here like so much. I was in corporate America also, and I had like 2 degrees and two masters and whatnot. And so whenever I meet people like you who are still pursuing education and learning, because I love learning, I
Yeah.
know that I was so much in my head that there was no place for listening my heart. And when I started listening to my heart, I was like, oh my God, why was I not choosing trusting my intuition all my life?
Yeah.
And it's such an easier way to live, right? It's such a fun way to live.
It is. It is. I mean, if and I think about it this way, if I, going back to my breast cancer, if I had trusted the data,
Hmm.
I would have made a different decision than
Right.
what my heart was telling me to do. The data was
Exactly.
telling me to do something else. The doctors were telling me to do something else. But my heart told me I needed to make a different decision for my life. And so that was nothing but intuition. It was going on an experience from my sister. It was going on from past experiences from other friends and family, people that I've known, things that I've read about, because I hadn't experienced it myself. But if I went strictly on the rational thinking method of looking at the data, looking at the stats, I would have made a totally different decision, totally
Yeah.
different, which could have had a different impact on my life. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I wanted to make the decision that my heart said to me, this is what you need to do. And I didn't even question it at all. I was like, that's what I'm doing.
That is so beautiful. So before I allow you to go into the world and spread your magic, um, I'm gonna ask you just this last 2 questions. So, how do we start, trusting our intuition a little bit more? So every day, do you have like tips and tricks where we can just start tapping into our intuition? What do you think? If I'm trying to put you on spot without even giving you a heads up before about intuition, but I'm so moved with the topic, the conversation, where it's going. Any quick 2 tips which you do every day, to start trusting there's this feeling of heart and what heart is telling.
One thing that I do every day is, for me, and people have different rituals that you do, but, my mantra is I try to read something spiritual every day,
Mm.
to help me along the way, to get me going, to get my mindset clear. And, oftentimes when I read something, it always resonates with what's going to happen in the day. And you
Mm.
don't really know that when you're reading it until you start your day, like, oh, that's what I really meant. And so that's what I do. I also try to make sure that I exercise, because it's hard to make good decisions if you don't have a clear mind.
Mm.
And you also have to have confidence in yourself to make good decisions. Oftentimes we second guess ourselves.
Mm.
And I don't know if anyone in your audience has been like me, but when I have second guessed myself, I made the wrong decision. And they always tell you to go with your gut instinct, which is your first instinct. And
Mm.
that's what you should go with. And we have to, if we don't trust our own instinct, then of course no one else will.
Right.
And so we have to trust our instinct, especially, being a mom, you have that instinct about, oh my gosh, this shouldn't happen, or my child shouldn't do this, or you have that feeling of something maybe either going to be good or bad, but you get this sensation or feeling. And I always go with my gut instinct. And, I'll tell a funny story, or even with my daughter when she was a teenager dating, I could tell when she was, had a friend, a male friend, I could tell if that was going to be a good relationship or a bad one. And she's like, Mom, why do you always? I'm like, okay. But I always knew. And that's mother's intuition. You always know. So, even my mom and my parents, they always knew. They tell me, you probably shouldn't do that, or don't go out late at night, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, what? But they had that intuition. They were trying to protect us. And so, as business owners, as individuals, we all have it. We just have to tap into it. We have to allow ourselves to tap into our own heart, our own intuition, and stop, looking at what's going on, what's on television, or what someone has told you. You have to look inside your own self because you have the answers. We just have to trust our answers.
That is
That's
so
the issue.
true. Yeah, we need to start owning our own greatness, right? We need to start trusting that we have our answers, and not to say that you cannot reach out to others, but it is not to ask answers from them. It's more like, okay, I'm getting this hints and nuggets and intuition from my belly. I'm not sure if I should act, and that can be one question, but
Right.
not to discount the answers you're getting from within your heart, right? And for many women in this group, you made that decision to move to a new country, right? And sometimes it was an impulse. I wouldn't say it was an impulsive decision. I don't think anybody makes an impulsive decision of moving to a new country for marriage. But there was a yes which came, from the very fact, whether it was because many of us has gone through an arranged marriage where your parents decide your groom, or in my case it was a love marriage, but it still was a yes from somewhere from the heart. And
Right.
then when you move to a new country and then you go through so many transition and changes and transformation, you're like, how do I even understand what's happening to me? How do I make sense of my new reality? And
Right.
that's where our head kicks in.
Yeah.
So the entire point of this tapping into intuition is that you already have greatness. You already have that feminine intuitiveness inside of you. That's a gift which nature
Yeah.
gave you. That's like a extra blessing on top of the other blessings of being a woman,
Right.
um, of having this great intuitive power, great intuitive gift. And we just need to start trusting ourselves, and
Yeah.
just owning the fact that whatever is your journey so far, is the exact journey, is the exact place you were meant to be in this lifetime. You are
Absolutely.
not behind, you are not ahead, you're just exactly where you're supposed to be, right? And as
Right.
Linda just turned around that story and now she's on a mission and she's doing so much, I think that is exactly what the entire the reason I wanted Linda to speak here was to tell everybody that, listen, life can throw as big lemons, grape sized lemons, coconut sized lemons, but it's on you to say that, what, that's fine, I'm going to just convert this into whatever the heck I can. It
Right.
doesn't has to be perfect, it doesn't has to be great, but I'm going to make it my way of doing
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Is just owning it, right,
Yeah.
Linda? Any last parting thoughts?
I would just say, I mean, I think you kind of summed it up. But one of the things that I gathered from what you just said, and I'll repeat it for others in case they didn't hear it, but it doesn't have to be perfect.
Mm.
It doesn't have to be perfect. I spent a lot of time trying to make sure that things were perfect in my life, because, I'm a middle child, so I wanted to make sure everything was perfect. And I always say I have middle child syndrome sometimes. Um, but I wanted to make sure that everything was always perfect. And I've always been that way. But as I have gotten older, I've realized that it doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to get up and do it. You got to make something happen. Like I said, make lemons out of lemonade. It doesn't have to be really sweet. If it's too sweet, then you add a little bit of water to it. We have to adjust. We have to pivot. And if we continually focus on making sure things are perfect before we do anything, we'll never get anything done because no one's perfect. And most of the time, people don't want things perfect. They want us to be authentic and genuine. And that is, following your intuition, being your own person and doing what you know is best for you and your family, and not waiting for it to be perfect. Just
That's
don't
awesome.
wait for things to be perfect because it will
Yeah,
not.
exactly. Love it. Love it. I know that you also have a gift for us. Tell us a bit about your gift.
Yes, absolutely. So for those that are listening, I have 5 open spots for individuals who want to spend a little bit more time with me to find their passion, get their groove back, get out of that rat race of your 9 to 5. And so I have 5 spots left for a jumpstart um, cash of corporate from corporate to cash strategy call. And so people can connect with me there at lindajordon.com, and that's Jordan, JORDON.com. No relation to Michael. He's a Jordan. Jordan.
I wish you said I do have a relationship with Michael Jordan. And I would like, I'm gonna talk to you for an hour. Forget about 30 minutes.
No relation to Michael Jordan. I'm Jordan, so lindajordon.com. But yeah, 5 spots that are available to have a conversation with me about my journey and to see if I can help other women. So I'm available at any time. They can click on the calendar. And also on my website, there's a free ebook, and it's called Elevation of the Mind. It's 10 ways to de-stress. And I wanted to write that to help others, go that are going through changes in their life, and it was about caregiving. And so it's a great book around different stories of experiences people have faced, and challenges and opportunities around, being a caregiver and having a chance to de-stress on life.
That is awesome. Listen, I know I'm gonna download that book, and I know that I'm gonna also get on the strategy call, because listening to your story and everything, I know I want to be in your surroundings. So anybody who is listening, this is a phenomenal gift to get on Glinda's calendar. Grab this gift. And so thank you for sharing your time and calendar with everybody here. And this is just for the first 5 people, guys. So you better just line up and then get on her calendar. And everybody who's listening, I know we were not able to interact with you a lot because I was so focused on listening Linda's wisdom words. So I'm going to interact with you in the chat later on. But having said that, keep interacting, keep sharing your ahas. Any questions, if you have, I forward the questions to Linda. And if you're watching on the replay, make sure you're posting your ahas, because remember, we also have participation prizes and gifts for you. So I will be reaching out to people who will win depending on who has interacted. So that's from our side. And thank you so much, Linda, again, for your time, for your amazing story, and I wish you nothing but the very best. And I know we're gonna meet more on several
Absolutely.
things we are together on. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.